Onorato and Miller, everyone. Great to have you with us, Chris and Ash. The post NCAA reign continues to be a mess with college athletics. It exists in entity, but certainly not in authority. We'll talk about these pros trying to get back in to college sports and now conferences standing up in opposition of that. It's Travers weekend in Saratoga.
Yeah.
We'll talk about the non-triple crown, but three-peat in a way of what Golden Tempo is trying to accomplish at the Travers this weekend. Baseball homestretch, final weekend of the NFL preseason, first weekend of college football with some games worth watching, believe it or not.
It's college football. I'd watch
pretty much anything.
Pretty much anything.
All right, then. Let's go. It's O&M.
This is Onorato and Miller, sponsored by Alpen House.
All right, Chris and Ash with you here. We will touch on Dolly Parton's passing, memories of her, and the outpouring of love that she has so rightfully received since passing away earlier in the week. But we start with this.
And now, Dirty, Difficult, and Done. Sponsored by Performance Industrial.
Bill Miller and his great team at Performance Industrial, never a job too dirty or too difficult for them to get it done. And now that the ACC has joined the party as of Thursday, all four power conferences are done with the idea of pros returning to compete in college.
As is Notre Dame.
And they are their own conference in many ways. And they were one of the early ones to be. Even Marcus Freeman was like, hey, even if we wanted to, it's too late in the game for us. The roster's set. We're good.
And that's it.
16 former NFL players, at least guys that had signed with an NFL team to take part in rookie mini camp or training camp in some way. We're trying to get back into college football. The Ole Miss thing to me is still murky because you've got a court injunction allowing players to go back to play for LSU, Ole Miss. And so even though the SEC has said we don't love this, what will that mean for individual universities? We'll kind of figure that out as it goes here. But as it stands, yes, this is common sense prevailing, and it's rare that anything done kind of within the NCAA guidelines actually involves common sense. But finally now, with conferences really kind of acting on their own, we get this to say, yeah, listen, if you've declared for the NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball draft, and you didn't pull your name out in time, or you signed as a free agent with a team, like, no, the eligibility is up. You cannot come back to college. Makes sense.
Yeah, there's a window for you to make that decision, to talk to agents and to talk to scouts and see where you may fall on a draft board. But yeah, once you've signed and played against other players who will play in the NFL ultimately in this situation, like, okay, now you can't go back to campus. And my thing is, it's not, for me, it's not the fairness of like the level of play. Like you're going to play against pro athletes and then you're going back to play against college athletes. For me, it's not that, because you are who you are. But having a college roster of 105 guys filled out, they're through all their spring practices. College teams are ready to play this weekend, next weekend, the weekend after. And you're going to come back and take a spot of a guy who's put a lot of time, energy, and effort in, and there has to be some accountability there. You can't just start cutting guys willy-nilly. It's not the pros.
Okay, but it theoretically can happen with a team sport in the Olympics, where you feel like hey, this is the roster we've got, but we are lacking in this department or this area at this position group, we can still add a guy before we have to go to the actual Olympics, right?
It's the Olympics. It's 2 weeks every 4 years.
Okay.
Not a profession or a college spot where a guy's going to get cut and then has nowhere to go. It's not even close to the same.
I don't have as much sympathy for the college athlete that I once did as
the college athlete who's going to be the first guy to get cut for a guy like Daquan Wright, who probably wouldn't play anyway and would be a third stringer. Now you're going to cut that guy because this guy decides he doesn't want to be or isn't good enough to be a pro, doesn't want to be a pro. You're going to cut that guy.
It's so transient now with the portal. And there's no penalty to transfer. So I've lost my sympathy for the loyalty argument here, right? That like these guys are now owed something. I don't know that they are anymore. Right? This is kind of the risk now
in the world that we are. Not every guy's the star quarterback.
I get it. But it's more than quarterbacks who are leaving. I mean, you got guys playing at 4 schools in 4 years, and they're not all quarterbacks.
You've also got guys sticking it out as third stringers who are practicing their butts off every day, who are going to be on the street. Like,
yeah,
there has to be a decision. They already have it. They've got a time limit to decide it. So I don't know what we're really. We're not debating like this.
No, I'm not saying that guys who sign a pro contract should be able to go back to play in college, right? But to me, it's about the individual's decision to leave. That door doesn't stay open behind you, right? The door to college athletics is closing behind you once you've signed that pro contract or kept your name in the draft, whether you're selected or not. Mm-hmm. So, and the argument used to be, well, college athletics, this is amateur athletics. Once you sign a pro contract, you lose eligibility. Not anymore. These guys are effectively signing contracts to get paid to play. And so it's no longer an eligibility issue about amateurism and professionalism.
Sure, but not everyone is part of that NIL money. You can't pay every player on your team NIL money. There's a cap as to how much you can spend. So not everyone is making the money you're talking about, and not everyone is getting that playing.
I'm not even talking about making the money. I'm just saying the line is not blurred anymore. It doesn't even exist between amateurism and professionalism. Of course, most athletes who play in college will not go on to play professionally anywhere. But this is the world we now live in. It's not run by NCAA guidelines anymore. The NCAA has zero authority. These decisions are being made by individual conferences, not by what the NCAA is saying should or shouldn't happen. Right? So, like, sure. I don't care if you're third string, if you're the 106th guy on the roster or not. Like, you are effectively now in a professional sport. Like it or not.
Ish. If you're not getting paid outside of free meals and a scholarship, you're not a professional athlete. This exists, and that's the problem. This exists. Some are treated like pros, but many aren't treated like pros. You've got however many millions of dollars to spend. Most of that money gets spent on your 10 best players, not the other 90. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So you want to bring in a guy like that, guess what? You better lose. Maybe the rule is you lose a top 40 guy. Like, you can't lose guy 105. That's not fair. To lose guy 105.
Okay. Bottom line is neither one of us believes these people who are pros should be allowed back in college sports.
Clearly not many people believe.
If they were allowed, then the way the world works, guess what? The person who isn't as good is the one who doesn't keep his spot. As unfortunate as that is. We'll see what happens with some of these guys who have been allowed to come back because of a court injunction. That includes 16 players who want back in. SEC was early on this one. This goes back more than a week now from the commissioner, Greg Sankey, who was like, hey, it just fuels more disruption in college sports, and that preventing athletes, he said, is essential to the integrity of college sports. I mean, who would have thought that like
Yeah.
a machine like the SEC would be the one waving the integrity flag here?
Well, when two of your
But-
teams are not, and that's
Yeah.
you're almost speaking out against your own teams, which you got to do it.
Yep.
But
Right. If you're going to keep everybody happy. Look, the Big 12 did it against
Mhm.
Texas Tech with the Sorsby stuff,
Mhm.
right? The Big 12 was like, no, this guy shouldn't be allowed to play.
Mhm.
And that's despite one of its
and there was some other stuff there.
major members wanting him
Too. Sure.
to be their quarterback, right? You had to
Yeah.
side with the majority, not the minority in the
Mhm.
SEC and every other conference is.
Yeah,
is
that
doing
wasn't
as
all
well.
about. They're not all equal though. Sorsby had some other stuff.
Well,
that
yeah,
it's
of
not.
course. Of course. Yeah. I'm just saying it was about choosing the majority,
Yeah.
not the minority. It
Yep.
was right. It was like, hey, I get that you're in our league, our conference, but
Yep.
we got other teams that are as well. Week 0, we're going to
I
call
don't
it
know why
here.
they
If
do
you
this.
week 1, kind of in some other places you'll look as
Mhm.
well, counting it just encompasses this weekend and next weekend. I'm going week 0. These are games that are only being played this weekend. Friday night, New Hampshire at UAlbany. And I thought, boy, that feels like an early start for UAlbany. It isn't
Not
really.
really.
We're just
They
so
played Travers
late.
last
Labor
year,
Day
didn't they?
is so late this year that
Yeah.
even though it's the end of August, and right, the track is still open in a way, right? And school isn't even close to starting. It
Mhm.
just, okay. That's Friday night at home. Then you get North Carolina and TCU in Ireland, noon on Saturday.
Yeah.
A ranked team here, San Jose State at USC. So if you want to see what the Trojans are all about, that is a 3:00 kick, I believe, on Saturday or 3:30 maybe. NC State, Virginia, that same time neighborhood. That is a conference game
Mhm.
between the Wolfpack and the Cavaliers, and some guys to kind of watch out for in that game. So if you're into college football, you could certainly make an argument for sitting down and watching a little bit on Saturday.
I'd be happy to.
Look at the top 10 here, the AP poll that was released last week. Ohio State is 1, Oregon is 2. Ohio State's also the betting favorite in a lot of books to win the title, followed by Notre Dame, and the Irish are 4 in the AP poll. Georgia is in there, Texas, Indiana, Miami, A&M, Ole Miss, Oklahoma.
And you like Oregon as your
I like Oregon
dark
as
horse
a bet.
ish.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't be dark horse.
I
if you're
said a couple of
ranked
weeks ago, it
second.
feels like picking the Chargers to
Yeah,
win the
yeah.
division or the
Mhm.
AFC every year, and it never happens.
Mhm.
Feels like Oregon has been a trendy pick in the past,
Mhm.
and the Ducks haven't delivered. Maybe different this year. I don't know. The Big Ten is just tough.
Mhm.
I mean, Ohio State, Oregon, Indiana, tough. But you got a bunch of SEC schools in there too. Oklahoma, I would have liked to have seen what Oklahoma would have done last year had Mateer stayed healthy.
Yeah.
So assuming health for him, if he plays the entire season at the level he was pre-thumb injury last year, the Sooners are as good as, the top 5 teams in the country, it
Yeah.
feels like.
And
So
their defense, listen, Brent Venables took over and they couldn't stop a nosebleed. Their defense has really come around last year. It started to look like a guy who hangs his hat on defense and you're like, well, they can't play any. So that seems interesting. But yeah, now it looks like they're starting to come around and playing defense for a guy who spent his career as a defensive coordinator. So
yeah.
seems to make a
Who do you like?
little bit of sense. Who do I like?
We'll get Ohio State, Oregon. We'll get Ohio State, Texas.
Early?
We will get Ohio State, Indiana this year.
I'm never going to
Notre
say
Dame
I like
will
Notre
play
Dame.
Miami again this year. That game will be in South Bend.
Yeah, I'm never going to say I like Notre Dame. I would love to see what Indiana looks like with the new quarterback
Mhm.
because they should be good pending the question of a quarterback.
Yeah, they'll be okay at quarterback too.
So yeah, I also don't love Miami, but they should play defense too.
I think Darian Mensah could win the Heisman, and the ACC is soft,
Well, yeah,
right?
they'll win games because the ACC.
yeah, I
is
mean,
no good.
you're right. So you look,
but
Notre
to win
Dame,
a title, that's different.
okay, but you've got to get there, right? You got to get in, and
Yeah.
it feels like
And then if you don't beat anybody, we talked about this. If you don't beat anybody along the way, tough to beat anybody when you get to the
Yep.
games that count.
Yep.
And not that Miami didn't. Miami did it last year, just
Yeah.
didn't win the big game. But nobody beat Indiana, so
right.
it's
right.
not like Smells like rain.
All right, we'll take a break here on Onorato and Miller in a second. We've got a couple of guests on this week's show. Josh Mankiewicz, who is one of the reporters, hosts for NBC Dateline, also the host of the podcast Missing in America. Season 5 is out now. We're going to talk with Josh about the American and maybe the human obsession with true crime.
That's me.
I know it is. Why do we have that obsession? I'll ask Josh that question. We'll talk with Dave Worden as well, local cancer survivor, current fighter, and advocate, raising a lot of money locally for cancer research and treatment through Dana-Farber, and a golf tournament he just recently had, year 7. And when he started the tournament, he didn't know that he would see year 2 of that tournament. So we'll talk with Dave about the great work his organization is doing and how he feels about the money that has been raised and the support he's gotten. That's still to come here on Onorato and Miller. We'll take a time out here. Let's look ahead to the Travers when we come back, and a little bit of baseball news as well. Something that could happen in the offseason that will really generate a lot of interest. That's next here on O&M.
Maybe this journey you're on has a purpose much greater than yourself. A purpose that goes beyond the field, the court, the gym. A crown awaits those who never give up. It's your time to dream again, to claim victory, and rise up. So what are you waiting for? It's time to rise. Claim your crown.
At Marcella's Appliance Center, our commitment is to you, providing essential appliances that families depend on for cooking, refrigeration, cleaning, and sanitation, plus appliance repair. You can have peace of mind that Marcella's is here for you today and every day, like we have been since 1957, helping you make the right choice with trusted brands like Whirlpool, Maytag, KitchenAid, and many more. Shop Marcella's Appliance Center in-store, online, or by phone. We're here for you.
And now, back to Onorato and Miller. Sponsored by Alpenhaus.
Alpenhaus, Marcella's Novice and Performance Industrial. Already did our Dirty Difficult Done segment of the week. We'll hit the Marcella's MVP of the month next week. It'll be one of the first 2 days of September. We'll give that out for the entire month of August.
With a couple bonus days.
157th running of the Travers Stakes. Golden Tempo's the morning line favorite at 5-2. He won the Kentucky Derby, sat out the Preakness, came back and won the Belmont, sat out the Jim Dandy because just wasn't healthy enough to run. So been a little bit of a layoff here since the Belmont, which was whatever it was, June 5th or something like that, and now to August 29th. But still the favorite, slightly ahead of Renegade. He won the Jim Dandy, but has finished second to Golden Tempo twice this year already. Cherie DeVoe, we know the story.
Yeah.
Born in Saratoga Springs, first woman trainer to ever win. It's a weird way to say it. First female trainer to ever win the
Kentucky
notice,
Derby. Though, people have started to say woman more than female. I don't know.
Why?
I don't know.
Who knows?
Yeah.
So first female trainer to win the Kentucky Derby and second female trainer to win the Belmont after Jenna Antonucci did it only a few years ago. The race has a really good field because you've got the Derby Belmont winner in Golden Tempo. You've got the Preakness winner in Napoleon Solo. You've got the Dandy winner in Renegade. A lot of people believed he was the best horse going into the Kentucky Derby. So there's belief that he may still be the one to beat in this race. And you've got Chad Brown with a couple of horses. Sea Strike is one that maybe has a real shot in this one.
Emerging Market? Is that horse running?
Emerging Market is running as well. Yep. You've got Javier Castellano, who has 7 Travers victories, the most by any jockey. He's on a horse called the Puma. And people are believing maybe the Puma can get it done. Baby Vino is a name that will take on some money as well after he's run.
The Puma feels like it should run fast. He should run fast.
It does feel that way.
Like a Puma.
Yes.
Listen, I don't know that she could possibly feel any more pressure than she's already felt. My guess is probably not. It's just kind of like, we're running. It'll be fun. It's a great experience. Will it take the shine off of anything that has happened for Golden Tempo if he doesn't win? You always ask that question because it's like, I mean, you've won the 2 races that are arguably bigger, so who cares in a lot of ways. I'm sure it would mean more for Cherie than it really means for the horse itself.
Because it's in Saratoga?
Yeah. Oh. And because it's, her track, the race at her track.
Yeah. I mean, the Belmont was at Saratoga too. So she could say, hey, I want a Triple Crown race in my backyard.
Normally isn't.
I'm with you. Yep. Yeah. I mean, Chad Brown has said the Travers would be the biggest win in his career, which is wild because he
still would be.
He has Triple Crown race victories. So, yeah, I don't know. Does it take the shine off it? I think if Golden Tempo were to not win Saturday in the Travers and then not win at the Breeders' Cup, you'd kind of go,
sure,
all right, maybe ran out of gas, right?
Or isn't.
But certainly the 3-year-old champion of the year to this point. Yeah. There, I mean, if Renegade wins Saturday and at the Breeders', does that unseat Golden Tempo?
Maybe.
I mean, it's a horse. Renegade would be a horse that doesn't have a Triple Crown win.
Yeah.
How do you,
Yeah, I get it.
The weather looks perfect.
Love that.
There's a lot of appeal to go to the race course on Saturday.
You can go
for this race. I think there's a good chance that
you end up there.
I end up there.
And then on the back deck for
part of the day.
Yeah, for the Travers.
Yep, part of the day. The days of being remember the. I mean, no, we don't remember the days because we'd be the ones covering the race.
Right.
I was gonna say, remember the days where you'd want to like push up onto the apron to get as close to the fence as you can to watch the.
I don't. And I'm a little. I feel like I've been a little bit jaded by the experience of covering it, not from I don't quite know how to explain it. I have never really seen the Travers happen because when you're looking through a lens and you're leaning over a rail and you're trying to get people's iPhones out of the way, you can't see when they're on the other side of the track. You don't see the race develop. All you see is the top of the stretch, if you're lucky, to the finish line. And even then, you can't tell who's who because you're looking through a lens. They're facing you. You don't see the silt. Like, there is so much that happens that they cross the finish line. You're like, okay, that was 7.
Yeah.
Oh, that was so-and-so. Let me look up. Remember who's the trainer. Like, it's such a blur that while it's so enjoyable, it's also like, there's so much that I don't remember from the race. So I love watching it on TV because I love seeing and hearing. Hearing is the biggest thing.
Even
you
though
can't
Frank
hear the announcer.
voice is coming over the race course, you're not hearing
it.
You
hear the crowd.
Yeah.
So the TV experience for me is where it's at.
Yeah, that's a great. I don't know that I've watched a Travers
like from up
in person
and not been on the
through
rail.
a camera.
Yeah. I would love to be like on the roof or just up in the grandstands where you can see the whole thing develop.
Yeah. Well, now that you say that, the year of American Pharaoh, I was on the roof.
I was down low.
Yeah.
Getting boxed out by everybody.
And I don't know that I was shooting video at the time. Hard to remember.
You had to have been.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. Have I actually seen a Travers not through the lens of a camera?
Yeah. Tough to.
Okay. Who are you picking?
Golden Tempo.
Okay.
Can't pick against him.
Okay. This would be a great thing if Major League Baseball can get it approved. Proposing a free agency window, like a 2 or 3 week window, a 3-week window, I believe it is, similar to what the NFL and NBA have, right? And it creates this frenetic pace to signings.
Like,
in baseball,
go.
It's a slow, painful drip in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
You get the owners' meetings, the winter meetings in December. And then you get guys who are still signing, and not that this doesn't happen, right? Like the Packers just signed tight end Jonnu Smith.
Mm-hmm.
So you do get signings that happen
Along
through training camp, but not if there are guys that teams really want, there is not this drawn out negotiating, competing, battling offer period, right? It's like, boom, day one of free agency, you're a big name, you are making your decision that day. Mm-hmm. Baseball's trying to get that to happen here the way it happens with the NFL. It'd be great. It'd be great. Instead of having guys who are going to be on a roster and get a big contract still sitting around in February. Mm-hmm. So this would be cool if it really happened. It would start day one of the winter meetings and go for 3 weeks. So you're talking about like mid-December, I believe, until kind of the end of the calendar year. Hopefully it happens.
Boy, so right through the holidays.
Right?
Cool.
Yeah, not bad. All right, we'll take a break here on O&M. When we come back, Josh Mankiewicz, one of the hosts and reporters on NBC Dateline and the host of the podcast Missing in America. He's our guest here on O&M right after this break.
Maybe this journey you're on has a purpose much greater than yourself. A purpose that goes beyond the field, the court, the gym. A crown awaits those who never give up. It's your time to dream again, to claim victory, and rise up. So what are you waiting for? It's time to rise. Claim your crown.
Nothing better than a chance to unwind at the end of the day. And a Wellness Spa can turn your home into the perfect place to relax, catch up, and enjoy a few quiet moments. With powerful hydrotherapy jets, soothing lighting, and thoughtful design, every soak melts the day away. More relaxation, more time together, more moments to look forward to. Right now at Alpenhaus, step into your own Wellness Spa for as little as $7,995. Alpenhaus Pools and Hot Tubs, Amsterdam and Clifton Park.
And now, back to Onorato and Miller. Sponsored by Alpenhaus.
The host of Missing in America, the podcast related to Dateline. It is Josh Mankiewicz. Josh, thank you so much for giving us the time here at the NBC in Albany, New York. Very plain to start here, but I'm just curious because you are really inside it. Why, as Americans or people, do we seem to have such a fascination, maybe obsession with true crime?
Look, I think it's a lot of reasons. I think people like to see the system working correctly, or at least working at all, which, for at least 2 hours on Friday night, it does. I think the audience is, largely women. In part because they're facing a criminal justice system that was sort of designed for somebody else and often doesn't recognize their needs. I think that's part of it. I think women are much more likely to sort of share their dating experiences and and the things that happen. They're more likely than men to do that. And it's a way for people to spot red flags. No question about it.
Interesting. And now season 5 of the podcast, like I said, Missing in America. What keeps you coming back to do this format?
There are families out there all over this country, desperate for answers, some waiting only a few months, some many, many years, all of them caught in this kind of limbo. In many cases, they believe there's a pretty good chance the person that's missing may not be alive anymore. Sometimes it's possible they are. It is a part of what we cover. It's a part of what's out there. And it's part that sort of doesn't get all the attention that it deserves.
And as you've kind of gone through the storytelling that you do with both Dateline and this podcast itself, and you've seen certainly advancements in the way people are tracked and crimes are solved, does it give you hope for families who are holding on to it themselves?
In terms of just Dateline, the big difference between Dateline and Missing in America is that Dateline generally has an ending every week.
Yeah.
Missing in America frequently doesn't. Those families don't know. We don't know. We need help. That's why we're doing the podcast. It's never been harder to be a bad guy in America, right? All kinds of forensic advances in modern crime fighting exist that didn't a few years ago. And in 10 years from now, something new will exist. So that kind of thing does give me hope. And the other thing that changes things is difference in circumstances. People who hear a podcast and think to themselves, you know what? I didn't want to say anything 10 years ago, but now I'm not going to keep silent any longer. Those kinds of things make me think maybe there's some light at the end of the tunnel for some of these families.
Josh, I think the longer we're in this business and the longer we're on this earth, I hope the better most of us become in terms of understanding other people, finding that compassion because of lived experiences. How has doing Dateline and also this podcast, Missing in America, helped you in your storytelling or interviewing skills when speaking with family members who are going through such an awful and uncertain time?
You know, I often get asked, what's it like to sit across from murderers, which we do at Dateline. That's not difficult. You know, they've got a story that they're going to tell, and it's your job to listen to it as a reporter and maybe poke some holes in it, ask them some questions that maybe they weren't asked by police, maybe they never took the stand, maybe this is the only time they're getting cross-examined. So that's a weight that you have to carry. But the hard part about this job, the tough part about this job, is dealing with those families whose lives are essentially cut into two pieces, the part before and the part now. And there's this idea that there's something out there called closure, that, you know, that if the case is disposed of, if someone's locked up, well, everything's okay. That's not true. There's no time machine in the criminal justice system. So you've got to remember that when you're talking to the families. They have gone through something life-changing. It's not going back the way it was.
And as this interview airs, Josh, episode 6 of season 5, Missing in America, is out. The podcast wherever you get your podcasts, you can find it. What's in episode 6 that people should really be looking forward to?
Episode 6 is the story of Bianca Carrasco in Texas, who vanished mysteriously. Her husband said she went for a walk to cool off. Not clear what really did happen. Not clear who is telling the truth here. Listen to it. It is a compelling story. And again, it's one of those stories, you know, she didn't go missing that long ago. If you know something, if you've heard something, call the police.
Do you feel like after all these years you are learning something on the job and by the people you speak with? You've been doing this for a long time at the absolute highest level, Josh.
Look, you know, I mean, you know this. I mean, reporting is learning, right? And it's feeling. So if you're not feeling anything and you don't learn anything, you're not doing this job, right? So you need to, like, pay attention. You know, I mean, a great documentarian, Peter Davis, who did The Selling of the Pentagon and Hunger in America, told me once that an interview is not a success unless you learn something that you didn't know when you went in, and also something that they didn't want to tell you or weren't planning to tell you. And so if you approach every interview that way, you're in better shape.
All right, with all these heavy subjects you cover, how do you keep things light outside of Dateline and the podcast Missing in America?
I wish I could tell you that, I go hang gliding, or I'm, whittling, or, I have an oyster boat. I stream British crime shows, and I say to my wife, that wouldn't happen in real life.
You would know. I would say I keep things light as a big sports fan, but a lot of times I end up yelling at the TV when my team isn't playing well, right? I lament the losses more than I enjoy the wins.
It doesn't calm you down, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Season 5 is streaming right now wherever you get your podcasts. Episode 6 of Missing in America has just dropped. Josh Mankiewicz, you see him every Friday night here on News Channel 13 with Dateline. Go listen to this podcast as well, Missing in America. Josh, thank you so much for the time.
At Marcella's Appliance Center, our commitment is to you, providing essential appliances that families depend on for cooking, refrigeration, cleaning, and sanitation, plus appliance repair. You can have peace of mind that Marcella's is here for you today and every day, like we have been since 1957, helping you make the right choice with trusted brands like Whirlpool, Maytag, KitchenAid, and many more. Shop Marcella's Appliance Center in-store, online, or by phone. We're here for you.
Grab the family and get on the water in style with a Barletta pontoon featuring the power of a Mercury outboard motor. You'll be slicing through the waves with a smoother, quieter ride, leaving you to relax and soak up the sun. Whether you're cruising with a family or tubing and skiing, Barletta and Mercury will give you the best ride on the lake. With their unmatched reliability and refined performance, Barletta and Mercury won't let anything hold you back from having a summer you'll never forget. So don't wait. Stop by Alpenhaus Boats and start your next adventure today. Check out our great selection on Route 30 in Amsterdam and online at alpenhausboats.com.
And now, back to Onorato and Miller. Sponsored by Alpenhaus.
Back on O&M here, Alpenhaus, Novice, Marcella's, and Performance Industrial. Haven't talked about this yet, but everybody is talking about Dolly Parton's passing at 80 years old. I said, boy, she was only 80, huh? She had been doing what she was doing for 60 plus years. It just felt like maybe she would have been a little more up there in age. She just lost her husband last year.
Yep, you looked that up.
And Dolly Parton dies at the age of 80.
After what we would say is a brief or quick illness.
Yeah.
Obviously, we don't know how long she, was fighting whatever she was fighting. So cancer was what her publicist said, I believe. Right. But I said to you, it felt like, for me, it felt like the most notable or most reacted to death, probably because it was a little bit surprising since Kobe. And you brought up Betty White, but I think Betty was more expected. Obviously, Kobe and Dolly are two different situations, but the outpouring of love feels extreme. Like from every different side, crossing party lines, President Trump lowering flags for a week. And, she said some things that could be viewed as a little bit divisive if you're talking about party lines. At the end of the day, I think she just kind of loved everyone. And I think there are a lot of people out there who appreciate that kind of sentimentality, and all of the quotes that you see from her are so feel good. And I said, like, so many of them are funny. Like she's being truthful, but she's being kind of coy and funny about it at the same time. So
she was always easy and quick to poke fun at herself, which, people will remember as part of her personality. But all the good she did philanthropically.
So much. Someone said that she could have been a billionaire if she wanted to, but she wasn't, because she gave so much away.
She was a country music star, but I don't know. I mean, I guess people would, if you stop somebody randomly on the street and said, what do you know about Dolly Parton as a singer? Would they immediately say country music? Maybe. Yeah. It just seemed like she crossed into maybe not other genres, but other entertainment spaces, or I just didn't always think of her as a country. So of course she was from Tennessee, right? You have Dollywood in Pigeon Forge. Is that right?
I think so.
And a hotel being built in downtown Nashville.
Yep.
So
yeah, and listen, this isn't, not that it makes her any more famous, but very famously the godmother of Miley Cyrus. So, and that's pretty well known, and that has been public for a long time, their relationship and how close they are. But the way people talk, other country music singers talk about her, and other people like Kelly Clarkson,
right?
But Blake Shelton and all of the country music singers, and that's what I've seen. We follow a lot of country music. The outpouring of support from everyone in the country music world, just how much she meant to their journey. And 9 to 5 is obviously like the song. But she famously did not sell Elvis Presley a song that Whitney Houston made one of the greatest songs of all time in The Bodyguard. So it's so funny. Like, I will always love you. No, not Elvis. I'm going to give it to a female, and then she's going to blow it up.
And people have said that, like, oh, I didn't know that was Dolly's song. It was Dolly's song. Yeah. Whitney made it famous, but and I had somebody say, like, oh, poor Dolly. I'm like, I'm sure Dolly did just fine royalties.
Yeah, Dolly's raking
song.
It in.
Yeah, off that song, I'm sure she did just fine.
Yeah, just sad, because it's one of those people who, there are so few people who are beloved in the way she was, and who have done so much good in their time on the planet. And like, you just want her to be around forever so she can continue to do good. because there aren't a lot of people like her. So yeah, very sad.
Yeah.
Very sad. But she did all right here.
She did.
She left it better than she found it.
Yeah, we started talking about other people who have had kind of a similar response to their passing. I know you said Kobe. I said Betty White. There are, but I don't know that there's somebody else that I thought. When did Prince die? Now, very different here, but that was 2016. It was a long time ago now. Can you believe that? Yeah, just the way people reacted to her death. Yeah,
for sure.
All right, so Dolly Parton, 80 years old. All right, we'll take another break here on Onorato and Miller. When we come back, we are talking with our buddy Dave Worden, who is celebrating another successful golf tournament, 7th annual Dave Worden Classic, more than $400,000 raised for cancer research and treatment at Dana-Farber. We're talking with Dave next year on O&M.
At Alpenhaus Boats, we know the value of having fun and making memories with family and friends. With a full line of versatile Sun Tracker pontoon boats featuring reliable Mercury outboard motors, it's our mission to make sure you have everything you need to get on the water and start having fun this boating season. Whether you're into fishing, relaxing with the family, or tubing and skiing, with Mercury and Sun Tracker, we're confident you'll find the perfect boat to fit your needs. Come see us at Alpenhaus Boats, Route 30 in Amsterdam, or shop online anytime at alpenhausboats.com.
Maybe this journey you're on has a purpose much greater than yourself. A purpose that goes beyond the field, the court, the gym. A crown awaits those who never give up. It's your time to dream again, to claim victory, and rise up. So what are you waiting for? It's time to rise. Claim your crown.
And now, back to Onorato and Miller. Sponsored by Alpenhaus.
Year 7 of the Dave Worden Classic, thedavewordenclassic.com. And so, of course, our guest is the Dave Worden. We've had him on the program before. Dave, it is always so good to see you, man. I know Monday's tournament was another huge success. Can you put into words how you find some measure of gratitude despite your fight?
It's really, Chris, it's what we do. And my wife, Leisha, and I do everything. And I mean, when we started this 7 years ago, I didn't even know there was going to be a second with my diagnosis. We just hit 7. And the people come up to the event and talk to us and just say, you do such a great job with the tournament. Everything is first class. The cause is amazing. I mean, I had half a dozen people come up to me at the dinner and talk about friends and family and their experience with cancer.
Wow.
And, you know, Leisha and I keep talking about, you know, it's so much work. We do everything and we wanted to keep it tight like that for the control. And we were talking maybe next year would be our last. And after hearing everybody come up and talk about it, we're like, no, we got to find a way to keep it going.
You just need a small committee, right?
Yes.
A small committee of hand-selected people you know will do things the way you want things done.
Right.
For people who don't know your story, Dave, you were diagnosed with stage 4 melanoma, and that's after you beat this disease once before. And for the people who don't know the story, if you wouldn't mind sharing again that diagnosis, what doctors told you then and how long ago that was.
Sure. I was first diagnosed with, I like to say, basic melanoma now, back in 2001. I had a mole on the back of my calf, and I had no idea how long it had been there. I'm a golfer. I'm out in the sun a lot. I grew up on the St. Lawrence River. Sun was part of my life. And it came back and was positive for melanoma. I had surgery. We had removed a number of lymph nodes. It hadn't spread. So I continued under an oncologist care for 5 years, and I'll never forget, he said, I don't need to see you anymore. I only treat sick people. And I was like, that was perfect. Then in 2019, I had a couple bumps around my knee, and I went to have them looked at, had them taken out by a surgeon, She said, well, I'm not sure about this one. Just to be safe, we'll send it out and have a biopsy. And it came back metastatic melanoma. Metastatic melanoma means it is now spread throughout your body, and it's where it becomes active. So that was 2019. Since then, I have had 12 surgeries to remove cancer and tumors in my body. But what's amazing, every one of them has been in my left leg. And my oncologist, Patrick Ott, Dana-Farber, who's remarkable, and I have a surgical oncologist, Charles Yoon. They are just fabulous. When I was over there this summer, they said, you're an anomaly. We've never seen anyone with as much cancer as you have, all state regional.
Wow.
And I said, that's a title I'm very proud to own.
So in 2019, when you get that diagnosis, you said, I know you've told me this out on the golf course, you felt like you had to do something, right? Something to leave a legacy, and you wanted to do, you didn't know, and you just said here, you didn't know there'd be a second golf tournament, but now there've been 7.
Right. I remember sitting there. I started off, I had a surgery done to clean up what had been done here. And I started immunotherapy, which is an infusion to boost the immune system. And I was sitting there. It was actually Valentine's Day, 2020. And I turned to Alicia and said, Dana-Farber's wonderful. They treat you like family. I feel special here. I need to do something for this place while I'm alive. I don't want somebody doing something after in my honor if I pass.
No. And you've raised more than $400,000 now through this golf tournament. And again, the website is thedavewardenclassic.com. You can make your donation there. Even though the golf tournament has passed, we covered it on News Channel 13. You can still make your donation there. Defy cancer, as Dave says, make a contribution to the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute. All right. I mean, year 7 is in the books. You said you're not sure you could do more beyond year 8, but I have bad news for you. You're going to have to.
We have to. The outpouring of support and really, a couple things. And the donations for the website, 100% of the research goes to my oncologist, Patrick Ott. He is the clinical melanoma research director at Dana-Farber. 100% of the money goes to him. And anybody who saw, I believe it was announced 2 weeks ago, there was a new drug or individual cancer vaccine that was just announced. And it's in combination with Moderna and Merck. And it's cancer vaccines. They're starting with melanoma.
Wow.
And it's built for every specific patient. And why I mentioned that is Dr. Ott is in the group, and he's been on the cutting edge of doing that. I was telling somebody the other night when I went to Dana-Farber and called up and wanted an appointment, they go, okay, you could see this person, and this person. Who do you want to see? I didn't know any names. Dr. Ott could see me sooner. I said, I'll take Dr. Ott. Wow. And it's just been phenomenal since that.
Every time I see you, Dave, every time I talk to you, you are filled with positivity. And maybe you have your down moments and you just don't let other people see them. But how do you remain as positive as you are?
Well, there's a few things there, Chris. One is a few years ago, things were not going well. I was having a lot of side effects, and we had a European vacation planned and not knowing if it could be our last. And we said to Dr. Ott, should we be going on this? And all he said is be positive and go live your best life. And ever since he said that, it's like a light went off, and I have been doing that. And really with the new individual cancer vaccines, there's a combination immunotherapy that I could look at, and continuing, if the cancers stay locally and the tumors, doing what Dr. Yoon, the surgeon, says, play whack-a-mole and kick the can down the road. I mean, it's remarkable. I never thought I would be here at this stage in my life, and I owe my life to Dana-Farber.
Yeah.
I really do. And, as we talk about this and, people who, don't have the wherewithal to go to places. I mean, there's great doctors locally, but when you can go to some place that specializes in what you have, please, if you have the opportunity, take it.
Yeah. And there are organizations that pop up like the Flutter Express that is taking patients from the capital region down to New York, out to Boston for these specific reasons. There are people getting behind these causes, Dave, every single day. I would have to imagine that is uplifting in some way to you, knowing that you're helping to really pave that path.
And it is. And it's ironic you said that, because every year we have a speaker at our event who talks about how cancer's impacted them. Yep. And this year it was Francesca Laporta Brandau from the Flutter Express and the Flutter Club. And we gave a portion of our proceeds from our Putting for Prizes contest to her. She made great connections, because travel to a major cancer center or she transports people for all kinds of health issues.
Yes.
But it should not be a barrier. And, Alicia and I were talking about this after, and we're like, probably 75% or more of the people that attended my tournament, getting someplace is not a barrier to them. But probably 75% of the normal population, it is. Yeah. So, it was just a great opportunity. She's a wonderful person. I mean, her story, if you've never had her on, is just remarkable. A cancer survivor. Her husband has cancer. Her father passed from cancer. When I met her, we instantly connected, and I said, I want to help you because what you offer is critical.
She, in the same way as you, she is such a bright light despite all the challenges. It's inspiring to see, honestly. And I know you've had great support from other people in the community, like Ken Raymond, who we've talked about, who has a personal connection.
Ken has been wonderful. Yeah. I mean, he has a deep connection to Dana-Farber. Right. Said from day one, I'm in for whatever you need. He spoke. He has developed a pipeline over to Dana-Farber, and will get anybody, whether he knows them or not. If you need an appointment, get in touch with Ken Raymond, through me, through him if you know him, and he will get people there to get the care, they need. And, we get people over there. Everybody's circumstance is different. Some make it, some don't. But, when you get this diagnosis, it's the scariest thing in the world. You don't know what to do. Your mind's all over the place. And just go to some place that they're vested in you, and they're going to do the best they can for you.
Well, I'm looking forward to year 8 and seeing you at that event.
We're already on it. I've already planned. I got people who I saw yesterday who missed out, said, count me in for next year. So I guess year 8 is going to happen.
August of 2027. I'm assuming at Wolfert's Roost again, buddy.
Wolfert's Roost, yes.
Awesome. Keep up the fight. I can't wait to see you again soon.
Support. I saw the coverage. I didn't see it a week ago. Somebody says, "Hey, I saw you on TV this morning." I go, "That's great." And everything you do is wonderful. And it's really, it's about community and people engaging. And, I said the other day, as crazy as it sounds, having cancer has made me a better person.
Mm.
It's
How?
inspiring.
Can you explain that?
Yeah. I want to do more. I want to give back. I want to help people. We've become a resource. Like, I get a call from somebody who said, "Oh, I don't even know him, but they know somebody I know. And, oh, my husband has cancer. He went here, he went there. Now he went to Dana-Farber. What do you think? What has been your opinion and your experience there?" Just having someone to talk about when there's so many questions out there, having somebody to vent to. This person vented about the care that her husband was getting. And, I had similar, instances too. And, it was just a case. I spent an hour and a half on the phone with her, and I've never met her in person.
Wow.
But she just needed to talk and needed somebody to listen. And being able to do that, it's very rewarding. It's become, I don't want to say whether my mission or my calling, but this whole process has become very near and dear to me. And if I can help one person and save their life, to me, it was worth it.
Well, you've already done that. There's no doubt about it. Yeah. All the money you've raised through this golf tournament, the Dave Worden Classic, again, just put .com at the end of that. Go check out the website. You can make a donation there. You can get information about next year's tournament, whether you can attend or maybe donate a silent auction item. It's all on the table for next year in 2027. Dave, thank you, buddy.
Chris, thank you so much.
At Marcella's Appliance Center, our commitment is to you, providing essential appliances that families depend on for cooking, refrigeration, cleaning, and sanitation, plus appliance repair. You can have peace of mind that Marcella's is here for you today and every day, like we have been since 1957, helping you make the right choice with trusted brands like Whirlpool, Maytag, KitchenAid, and many more. Shop Marcella's Appliance Center in-store, online, or by phone. We're here for you.
Using the highest quality materials, artisanal craftsmanship, and creative design, we're ready to help bring the vacation experience to your own home. With custom-designed Legacy Edition pools, we're confident we can turn your backyard into your own personal oasis. And we'll be by your side through the whole process. Get outside this summer with Alpenhaus. Be sure to visit our 16,000 square foot showroom expansion on Route 30 in Amsterdam. Alpenhaus Pools and Hot Tubs, Amsterdam and Clifton Park.
And now, back to Onorato and Miller. Sponsored by Alpenhaus.
Always great to catch up with our guy, Dave Worden. All right, last couple of minutes here, Ash, and pick the World Series winner right now. August 20, whatever this is. 27th. Pick your World Series winner.
Boy,
I put up some information here about a Yankees injury update.
Not the Yankees.
Bellinger's back. Judge is taking batting practice. Giancarlo Stanton.
Hurt his calf, rehabbing his calf, other calf. Right. Hurt his calf. Yeah. I can't talk. I tweak my back getting out of bed sometimes. But I'm not making $1 trillion a year.
Dodgers are on the struggle bus.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I would automatically say Dodgers, but they've had their fair share of injuries.
Is it the Brewers' year? Is it Milwaukee's year?
I mean, you better take advantage of Jake Mazeroski right now.
Yeah.
While he's hot, because he'll play out his 3 more years or whatever he has left and then go somewhere where he can win if you don't. You know what I mean? Like it feels like that kind of situation.
Yeah. Okay.
I wouldn't say that's not going to be where I go. Wouldn't say it's the Dodgers' year. I'll never say it's Boston's year, because if I do, then that means even if I believed it, which I don't, I would say the Dodgers. Like they have too much talent not to figure it out in a 7-game series. They have such insane pitching. Their line, it's just, they would be too much to overcome for most teams. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying they're going to win the World Series, but if I had to pick, that would be my pick.
Okay. If I said Dodgers or the field. Yeah,
you just have a better
I
chance.
would say the field too, but 2 months ago I would have said the Dodgers, I bet. And if you had told me 2 months ago they're going to get Tarek Skubal, I would have said definitely the Dodgers.
I love that he's starting against the Tigers on Saturday. So good. I'm sure he'll get booed. I'm sure he'll get booed, even though it's not his. I always say, not that guy's fault.
Yeah.
They got rid of him.
Yeah.
But he's pitching for the other team. He's not going to root for the Dodgers.
Back-to-back site. Well, not root for the Dodgers, but you're not going to give him a warm reception back to Detroit.
Maybe a quick. We hope you give up 5 runs.
Boy, okay. Back-to-back Cy Young
We got
Award
a fruit
winner.
fly in here.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
I don't know. It's the humidity.
Yeah.
I'm blaming the humidity.
The flowers.
All right. Great. You got that right. Thanks for watching Onorato and Miller, everybody. We are back next week with the hosts of Big Break on the Golf Channel. Have a great weekend. We will see you next week for O&M.